Do you ever pray and have faith that God will do what you are asking Him to do? What does that actually mean? Like, if you have faith to believe that you will be healed, does that mean that you will be healed? If you have faith that you will get that job, does that actually mean you will get that job? Join us today to see, what is the faith thing all about? All right, good morning. Welcome to our shorts series where we just take a topic and we talk about it really in a short amount of time. And hopefully we can get you a quick answer on something. So today I want to talk about this word faith, because we hear a lot about this in regards to faith and prayer. And if you have enough faith, then God's going to heal you. And if you have enough faith, God will get you that job. And if you have enough faith, then money's going to just show up in your mailbox. And when you hear those statements, you think, wow, it sounds a lot like God is dependent on my faith to actually answer my prayer. And what that says is that, well, if you don't have enough faith, then you know what? God sorry, not going to be able to do that. But that's actually not true. So I want to talk to you about that today, because if in fact that were true, then the focal point of your faith is actually you. You have to do something. You have to produce enough faith. And I don't believe that that's what the Bible says at all. Biblical faith is this: your focal point is God. That's who you have faith in, not in yourself, not in what you can produce. Everything is faith in what God does. Because when you have faith, your faith has to be attached to something. And as followers of Jesus, our faith is in God, is in His promises that He has given us in His Word. I was thinking about this. I've told you this story before about when our kids were younger. I have no idea where I was. So just so you know that. I was probably in the house doing something. The kids thought it would be really fun to get on the roof and to take their younger brother, put him in a crate, put a sheet, and push him off the roof, because they were convinced, they believed that sheet would actually make him like fly. Or it was crazy. Thank the Lord they didn't do that. But they had faith. The object of their faith was that sheet. I have faith to believe that sheet around that crate is going to make sure that my brother doesn't crash onto the ground. It's going to slowly take him down like a parachute. But we all know that a sheet can't make someone fly because it's a sheet, all right? But the Bible makes it clear that as a Christian, there has to be an object to our faith. We see what it looks like in this, Matthew 8:5. When Jesus had entered Capernaum, a centurion came to him asking for help. "Lord," he said, "my servant lies at home paralyzed and is in terrible suffering." And Jesus said to him, "I will go and heal him." Now, the centurion didn't just conjure up enough faith and, if I just believe Jesus is going to do that. He put his faith in something tangible, a promise from Jesus. Jesus said, "I will go and heal him." He put faith in the promise of Jesus, not anything that the centurion could do on his own. Verse 8, the centurion replied, "Lord, I do not deserve to have you come under my roof, but just say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I myself am a man under authority with soldiers under me. I tell this one, 'Go,' and he goes, and that one, 'Come,' and he comes. I say to my servant, 'Do this,' and he does it." When Jesus heard this, he was astonished and said to those following him, "I tell you the truth, I have not found anyone in Israel with such great faith." Faith. He just believed that God would do what God said He would do. In this particular instant, Jesus says, "I'm going to come heal him." And he believed him. He trusted in that promise. And see, what we see in the Bible is that Jesus isn't astonished at much that we do, but He was really astonished at this man's faith. But like I said, the centurion's object of his faith was not this idea that, well, I'm just going to believe and have enough faith and then Jesus has to do it. That's not what it was. Verse 13 says this, "Then Jesus said to the centurion, 'Go, it will be done just as you believed it would.' And his servant was healed at that very hour." Our faith has to be anchored to what God has said or promised. So the problem nowadays is we think faith means I just believe and what I believe for will happen. That's what we're being taught. If I just have enough faith that that check's going to show up in the mail, if I just have enough faith that my kids can fly off the roof and not die, then I'm going to get what I want. But the problem with that is that when those things don't happen, our faith is shattered because we had faith in the wrong thing. So take that into our life, because all of us have faith that things would work out, in a specific way, and then they didn't. And what happens is we blame God. But God, I had faith. I had faith that you were going to do this. And we need to rethink our faith in regards to prayer. Here's what we need to know. Our faith has to be attached to God and His will. Our faith has to be attached to what God has already said or promised us. Our faith can't be on how things turn out. Because a lot of times, honestly, how we want things to turn out are not part of God's will for our life. For instance, I told this in a couple lessons ago on prayer. We prayed for our friend who was in the hospital with COVID. We had tons of faith. Tons of faith. Of course God's going to heal him. But God didn't heal him and he died. But our faith was not shattered because we put our faith in God and what His will was, not what I want. Because we know God never promised in the Bible that our friend would live. We prayed to that end, but we also ended our prayer with, God, your kingdom come, your will be done. My faith is in a God who sees things I don't see, and in a God who most of the time does things that I don't even understand. But I trust Him. I have faith to believe He will do what needs to be done. We prayed for Cheyenne one time to get a specific job, and honestly, I had more faith. God, this is the perfect job for her, and I just have faith to believe you're going to do this. But she didn't get it. But our faith wasn't shattered because we had faith that God would do what He needed to do in Cheyenne's life. God never promised her a specific job. We prayed to that end. We asked God for that. But like I said, our prayer always ends with, God, but your kingdom come, your will be done. I have faith that God will do what He needs to do in Cheyenne's life. And so thankful, years later, we look back and so thankful that He did not answer the prayer like we wanted because she ended up getting a really great job. See, faith is this. Faith is all about, we say this all the time, surrender. When we decide to follow Jesus, that's what it means. He leads, we follow. I surrender my will to His will. My faith is not in what He can do for me. My faith is in Him leading the way. But I don't think we're hearing a lot of that today. We're hearing if you come to Jesus and you have faith and you pray, then God is obligated to do what you're praying for. And honestly, nothing could be farther from the truth. Following Jesus is about getting on board with what He is doing in the world. That's what we need to get on board with. And that's the point. As a follower of Jesus, our faith isn't in a specific outcome the way we planned it out. We can't do that. We pray, but our faith is in God and in His will. Our faith is not, because I have faith, God has to do what I ask. Because I have faith, the Cardinals will win. Probably not. Because I have faith, I won't get hit by that car. Because I have faith, I will get pregnant next month. Remember, our faith isn't in the specific outcome the way we planned it out. And we have to really be able to distinguish those two. What I realized is just how far people have come away from biblical faith. Faith in God says this, God, I would like this. I would like so-and-so to get pregnant or so-and-so to get healed. I pray for that. But God, my faith is in you to do what you need to do because my life is surrendered to you. The missing piece in this whole faith thing is that we are here to serve God, not us. And somehow we're just not hearing that message. So my faith is attached to God and what he said in his word. When our friend died, my faith rested on this promise. Romans 8:28, we know God causes all things to work together for good, to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. Now, we knew that our friend loved God, but God's purpose for him was for him to die and go home to be with him. I don't know why. My cousin just died in a head-on collision by a drunk driver. I don't get that. But I have faith to believe that God will do something with those deaths. I have to do this. Proverbs 3:5, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. Proverbs 16:9, in his heart man plans his course, but the Lord determines his step. Our faith isn't something we have that will push God to give us what we want. That's not what faith is. Faith is trust in an object. And our object that we put our faith in is God and his will. I hope that helps you today. Have a really good day.